Well, I'll give you the full injury update. Scott is about to come out of a boot that he's been in since the injury. He's got an ankle ligament injury, so it's quite a significant one. He's progressing well, and it's about moving the rehab forward now and progressing that. But obviously in the short term, Scott will be missing. Better news on Ryan Jack, who's been outside and had 2 or 3 pitch sessions and is progressing extremely well. And if that keeps moving in that direction, he should be with the team sometime towards the middle of next week. Jordan Jones is pretty similar to Ryan in terms of return time. Jordan's had a calf injury. Coming back after his ban, he's picked the calf injury up, but he's due to be back with the team middle of next week as well. George Edmondson's off to see a specialist. He's got a bit of a niggle around his hip and adductor area that we need to get a specialist opinion on. I'll know more on George in a couple of days. And Katic is progressing well. He's had a little bit of a break back home, but he's obviously back with us now and progressing well.
Andy Newport, please.
I just also ask about Kamal Roof after he came off in the firm games. Is he okay?
Missed him, didn't I? So Kamal won't be with us at the weekend. He's one that has obviously picked up an injury in the old firm. It's difficult to put a date on that one just yet, but I predict he could miss a couple of games.
Can I just ask, obviously, we're now into January, contracts can be renegotiated from this point onwards with other clubs. I mean, is there any concern with the likes of Leon? Obviously, his deal expires at the end of the season, and with Alan McGregor as well, showing that he's sort of kind of slowing down. Is there any talks with him about extending his contract situation?
There's no talks with any of the players at the moment, but that doesn't mean that we're not keen to keep them here with us. I think negotiations will be made between club and the representation, once they get up and running. Alan's in fantastic form. We're really pleased with him. I think Alan's situation is a bit different than most because of his age. The club want to be obviously very respectful to him. I think it'll be a case of what Alan wants to do. So at the right time, I'll sit down with Alan and we'll talk to his people who represent him, and we'll have an open discussion on that one. But we're really pleased with his form. It won't be a case of judging him on his age. It'll be a case of what Alan wants to do and what he wants in terms of his own future, and we'll be very respectful to that. Leon is someone who we want to keep hold of. He knows that. He's performing ever so well. He signed a contract with an option of an extension on that contract. He's doing ever so well, and we want him to be here beyond this season. So there's no rush in terms of that one. Leon knows he's wanted here. I think he's enjoying it. He's playing with a smile on his face. And he's someone who's come in and made the team and the squad a lot stronger. So we're very pleased with him as well. In terms of everyone else, it's a case of let's be patient and wait for the right time. And at the right time, we will reward the individuals that need rewarding.
Very good. Jordan Campbell, please.
Hi, Stephen. Obviously, the fullbacks are quite well known to be a major threat for the team. It seems like in recent weeks, I don't know if you felt that teams have started adapting to that and trying to almost shut James Tavernier at the game.
I think that's pretty normal. That teams and managers are going to have a look at Rangers' strengths and try and nullify them strengths. But I think it'd be very disrespectful to me, to the other coaches that I'm competing against, if I said this is just a recent thing. I think people seem to think that St Mirren were the first team to try and stop James Tavernier in my 2.5-year tenure, which is so far from the truth, because you've got to respect all the managers and the coaches in the league. They're always going to try and nullify Rangers' threats, but we have to be able to adapt in game, before games. We have to have different tools to react to different situations. St Mirren tried to stop us in the second game in the league and we won the game 2-0. So it's about us being able to have the right tools and being able to adapt within game and being ready for whatever teams try and do to stop us. But the good thing is we're not reliant on just one player. We've got strengths all over the park, so that's a good place to be in.
Alison Conroy, please.
Morning, Stephen. Just in terms of the game on Sunday and the trip up to Aberdeen, what are you expecting from them?
A tough challenge. They're a good team. They've got good players. They've got players returning from injury. They obviously had a few players that were missing due to COVID situations over the last couple of fixtures, I think it was. So it's always going to be a tough challenge. Derek's a good coach. He has the team well drilled. He squeezes every little bit out of his players in terms of having them ready to compete, and got players that can really hurt you. So our respect for Aberdeen and what we're going to face is certainly there. Having said that, we're going up to Pittodrie. We went up there at the beginning of the season, performed ever so well. It was really calm atmosphere, very different to the normal Pittodrie. And we really went up there and performed ever so well and deserved our victory. We're looking to try and do the same thing. We're going up there for 3 points. I'm looking for a performance that deserves them 3 points. And I believe if we can get close to our best, we're confident we can get what we want.
Greg Vickers, please.
Morning, Stephen. We're entering a period of the season where your team has sort of faltered in the last 2 seasons. Are you more confident this time around that they can maintain the form that they've shown in the first half of the season? And if you are, what sort of aspects are sort of driving that confidence?
Well, I've got total belief and confidence in my players. I always have had, and we're not a group of people that forward. We've just beat a very good team last week in Celtic. We've won 14 on the spin. We're unbeaten in terms of the league. So that gives me confidence and belief that we're in a good place. But, I know as well as anyone that form's only temporary. You've got to keep pushing. You've got to keep trying to max out. You've got to keep trying to raise the bar and face every challenge that comes our way. And it's very important we stay in the now and we don't live in the past or too far in the future. And the now is a tough challenge against Aberdeen. So we're ready, we're prepared, we've had a bit of extra training time, which has been helpful. And we reset and get ready to try and win 3 points.
David Tanner, please.
Hi, Stephen. What sort of stuff have you been working on in that extra training?
Sorry?
What sort of stuff have you prioritised in that extra training and the extra time that you're getting with the players at the moment? Well,
I think if you looked at our schedule from when we first started the season, you get very little chance to go week to week. Normally we're playing Thursday, Sunday when you're involved in the European. And then normally there's midweek games as well, but this week's been quite nice in terms of having the week to week. So you can train more on open spaces. You can do a lot more 11v11 work. You can push the players a little bit harder than normal. When you've got games every 2-3 days, it's about playing and recovering and topping the players up that haven't had many minutes. So to be able to have full sessions and really push the players in open spaces and really drill the team 11v11 stuff. We had a lot of time to do that in pre-season, but since the season's begun, the days where you get the chance to do that are very limited. I don't know the exact number of days, but I think it's in between probably 12 and 16 opportunities we've had to have a real good push in terms of what we're looking for. So we welcome that this week, and it's a good chance for us to reset and get ready for this tough challenge of the weekend.
David Edgar, please.
Hi, Stephen. You've discussed on here before how important the small margins are, and we read an interesting piece from one of your analysts this week. Do you think that one of the keys to success so far this season has been the focus on improving every aspect of the club?
We've had no success this season, David, just yet. It's something that we're working towards. Everyone's pushing in the right direction for this season to be a success. And from the beginning of the season, or even back to when the season was curtailed last year, it was my job to analyse where we were. Everyone had to self-reflect from an individual point of view, and we need to find the areas where we needed to improve. But it's always been a constant thing in terms of trying to find the marginal gains and the small margins to push everyone in every area. The staff around the first team, coaching staff, have been superb. everyone's on the same page in terms of trying to push these players to improve them as a group and individuals. So, yes, marginal gains is something that we always try and focus on.
Thank you.
And finally, Raman, please.
Stephen, with the transfer window open, I just wondered how important it is for you to keep the squad intact as you look to go the distance in the league. And can you just tell us on Scott Arfield how long he's likely to be out?
It's difficult to put a date on Scott. What I would say is, if knowing Scott and he keeps progressing as he has, you're looking at probably the end of the month, all being well. It's an injury that you can't really rush and push as much as you'd want to. So you're probably looking at 4 to 5 weeks for this type of injury. He's been out for a couple already, so you're looking at probably the end of January, beginning of February, but we'll have to just see how that plays out, and I'll keep trying to update you guys as we move forward on that one.
And in terms of keeping your squad as you look to go the distance in the league?
We're really happy with the squad at the moment. I don't expect any drastic changes in terms of people coming in to join that, certainly in this window. I expect a few people to go out. There's a lot of interest in some of our younger players and our fringe players in terms of loans. There's nothing really concrete to tell you on that just yet, but I think as this window progresses, and because of the situation we're in with COVID and the pandemic, a lot of clubs are looking to loan players and are looking for favours rather than going and splashing cash. So I expect quite a few loan deals to be done from now to the end of the window in terms of outgoings. We're linked with quite a few players in the media, but we always are. We always are. Every week, every month, I've been the Rangers manager. There's always 2 or 3 different names, but there's nothing to really say on that. We're always looking to improve. If something came available that was of interest, we'd pursue it, but there's nothing to tell you guys about. There's nothing going to jump out in the coming days that's going to surprise you, that's for sure.
I was thinking more of the key players. Obviously, there was interest in Morelos in the last window. Whether you'd be able to plug that off this time round?
No one's going out the door.